like this without the resources that we would love to have. I just invite you to come out of the thoughts for a second and bring your attention to your breath, your body, your heartbeat, feet on the ground. We're right here, we're right now. All that's happening right now is just being in a circle together. And then if you can bring into your heart someone in your life or a place that connects you to your purpose and why you're here, why you're doing this journey. Draw strength from that. Draw strength from that and know that the action that we take today is joined with the action and the struggle of millions of people around the world. That we are shifting things, that the fact that President Biden today announced this climate accord is a product of the struggle of the world. And every step that we take forward in leadership as a movement produces some step now or in the future from our elected officials. That is a fact. So let's take another step again. Y'all feel good about that?
Yeah.
Ready to tap together?
I think what we're doing here, it may look small, but it is mighty. Many major actions that were small have made big impacts. A lot of small movements blossom into big movements. And so I just want you to see something small here. Just remember, small doesn't always mean little. We are doing impactful work, we're doing big work here. This small group is just doing something really big. We're here to protect our environment. This is for our grandkids, for our children, this is for our great-grandkids, for those who will be alive in 2070, 2100. So, we're all doing great work.
So,
Everyone, there's some new folks here I'm noticing. I'm the general support for the group, and so if anybody needs anything today, you just talk to me, I will help you. So water, whatever it is, just speak to me and I will help you. Yes, thank you.
So we're going to go over, we're going to put our message here on the steps. You can just be quiet, be ready. As we do that, take photos, video. Everybody feel like you're clear about your role in supporting today?
I have water in my bag. Anybody needs water?
VA
Yes.
is in charge of jail support.
Yes.
And then as soon as we have it up, we'll initiate our chance to take over the space first. Okay. Siren okay? Rock and roll. Ready?
Roll.
Ready? All right.
Yeah, it's an emergency. You getting arrested again?
Can I really went live because I thought they were going to do it now. They keep coming behind. I went live. I totally went live.
You cannot fix a sign in the fence. You cannot fix a sign in the fence. You cannot fix a sign in the fence. Okay? Going, you cannot fix a sign in the fence.
It's an emergency.
So it's illegal.
It's an emergency.
You know it's illegal to sign, fix a sign.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
We're here today.
Declare a climate emergency.
My name's Kai Newkirk with Forwall. I'm part of this group of courageous climate protesters, of brave citizens. We're here with love in our hearts and to reach from our hearts to the heart of President Biden, to call on him to do what we know he knows is right, but so far has lacked the courage and conviction to do, which is to act on the truth of his words that the climate crisis is an existential threat to our nation and the world, and to act with that understanding, to confront it with every power, with every tool, with all the urgency that is demanded in facing an existential threat. And step one that he needs to do today is to finally declare a national climate emergency. Right now, right today. And the second is to keep his promise, as he said on the campaign trail. No new drilling for fossil fuels in federal lands. Period, period, period. That's what Biden said, and he broke that promise. And all of the scientists say, all of the people on the front lines say that if we are going to restore a safe climate, if we are going to save the millions of lives that are at risk, we have to stop and phase out fossil fuels responsibly and justly as fast as possible. And he has to take that step. Keep your promise, Joe Biden. End fossil fuels. Move to end fossil fuels now, and we're here to bring that message. You shouldn't come to the White House and just pretend that everything's A-okay, because it's not. As you come here, we want you to see there is an emergency, there is a crisis, and we are willing, if it takes that, to go to jail for justice, to call on Biden to act with courage, to act with urgency, to declare a climate emergency, to end fossil fuels and save lives. Act with urgency.
Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
President Biden, we are calling on you as a man of faith to be a good steward of the planet. Declare a climate emergency. If you are a man of faith, you will declare a climate emergency and end fossil fuels today. As another man of faith, I am calling on you to put your faith into action and be a good steward of the planet, like what it says in the book of Genesis. God gave us dominion over the planet. If we're going to have dominion over the planet, we must be good stewards of the planet. And that means we must end fossil fuels today. 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 End fossil fuels today.
End fossil fuels today.
Joe! President Biden! Do you hear us? Wake up! There's a climate emergency underway.
That's right.
Do you
promises. Declare a climate emergency. My name is Dr. Paul Seitz. I'm a physician. Thousands of people are dying every day from the climate emergency, and our president is not taking the action that he committed to. He committed to no drilling on federal lands, and he has given more permits so far in his presidency, only 3 years in, than President Trump did in his full 4-year term. We need him to stop drilling on federal lands to keep his promise. Biden said the climate emergency is an existential threat. We agree. So he should declare a climate emergency and bring forward the full force of the federal government and the American people. All Americans, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, all people in the country to help us solve the climate emergency. If we act now, we can actually stop it.
That's right.
If we do nothing, like what he's doing now, then we're sunk. So now is the time to act. Act with urgency. Demand a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
Act
With urgency.
Declare a climate emergency.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
Right now, President Biden is in New York, not attending the UN Climate Summit, where world leaders have arrived. World leaders who could only come in the door if they were serious about phasing out fossil fuels. The Secretary General Guterres held the line. He refused to let Biden through the door if he wasn't serious about ending fossil fuels. Well, guess what? He's not in the meeting. What does that mean? He's fine with scaling up green colonial fake solutions that require the mining of indigenous lands to get the wanted minerals and metals. Most of those are within 30 miles of indigenous lands. That is not a real solution. There are other solutions that are true, that don't harm indigenous people further, and those who have paid and paid and paid for the lifestyle so many of the Americans have enjoyed. We need real solutions. We need real indigenous consent. We need communities to be involved in solutions. We need solutions that come from the front lines. We need real environmental impact studies. We do not need
vanity. We need no vanity.
We do not need electric vehicles to be declared national security. We do not need lithium to be declared in our national interest and have DOD spending billions of dollars to run through tribal lands once again and pillage and plunder and poison. We need real solutions. Biden is fine with another entire level of colonialism that is greenwashed. It is unacceptable. We need true solutions to the climate emergency, and he is not there. Act with urgency. Declare climate emergency.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency.
Declare a climate emergency.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
Act with urgency.
Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels.
Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil.
I want to reiterate what Sister Cheryl said, that right now the United Nations is holding a climate ambition summit. The Secretary General called leaders together to put forward plans that can actually solve the crisis, that will phase out fossil fuels. And President Biden is not there. This is an opportunity to lead the world, and he's not there. And we're here today to say that is unacceptable. We need you to lead. We need you to lead now. In that first step to declare a climate emergency, use your power. We know there are people in your administration who know it's the right thing to do. And I want to be clear also, some people might think that's a political risk. No, it is a huge political winner for Biden to do this, because so many of the people who voted for him are waiting for him to do it, are upset that he's refused, that he continues to delay. The people who don't believe, that have been misled, that think climate change isn't real, we're not going to win them for this next election.
He's losing votes.
But we know that the people who worked the hardest to put him in office, they're upset that he broke that promise. They're upset that he hasn't used all of his powers yet. And the people in the middle, many, many more of them believe and understand that climate crisis is an urgent threat, and they want action. This is a winner. This is the right thing to do, most importantly for lives, most importantly for this precious planet, most importantly for all the species that we share this home with. But it's also the right thing to do if you want to be reelected. And we have to be clear. It is a huge, huge mistake every day that he waits to do it. And we're here to say, if it takes us going to jail for justice for a day, to call on Biden to lead, to declare a climate emergency, we will do that. He has to act now. Act with urgency.
Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
True climate solutions respect Indigenous rights. True climate solutions respect Indigenous rights.
True climate solutions respect Indigenous rights. True climate solutions respect Indigenous rights. True climate solutions respect Indigenous rights. True climate solutions respect Indigenous rights.
True climate solutions respect Indigenous rights. Climate solutions respect Indigenous rights. True climate solutions.
My name is Jill Ferguson.
Grandma Jill, badass.
I am badass grandma water protector. I was arrested 3 times in Minnesota at Enbridge Line 3. At Line 3, they have breached 4 aquifers. They have destroyed the ecosystem, putting these pipelines through as fast as they can. They have a pipeline under Line 5, under the Great Lakes, that's 70 years old. 20 years past its lifetime of 50 years. I am here as badass Grandma Jill to call on First Lady Grandma Jill to invite me in. Jill to Jill. Jill to Jill. Let's talk about our grandchildren's well-being, their future, for clean air, for clean water. This is unsustainable. They put this pipeline through 400 bodies of water. The Great Lakes is 90% of this nation's fresh water supply. Fresh water is a non-renewable resource. When it's gone, it's gone. I'm here today. Jill to Jill, let's talk. You got 7 grandchildren. I've got 8. And all of these kids here are all
back better.
So Jill Biden, if you're in there, you are an educator. You are a mother. You are a grandmother. Let's talk. I'm begging you. I was arrested last week calling on you. So I'm calling on you once again, please.
Mother Earth is sacred.
This
Extraction
is not our job. This is not our job. To be arrested, to be criminalized, to be shamed, to be convicted. It's not our job. It's Joe Biden's job. It's the EPA's job. It's Congress's job. It's not our job.
Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. Hello. Hi, my name's Emily Crockett. So here's the thing. President Biden, we know your heart is in the right place. We know that you care about climate change, that you believe it is an emergency. We are asking you to make your actions match your words and intentions. Declaring a national climate emergency is not just a symbolic gesture. It would unlock real powers. He could get around Congress's inability or refusal to do anything substantive. Biden, by declaring a national climate emergency, is not only taking a powerful symbolic step that he needs to do, he will be unlocking real powers. He could halt the exports of oil, of crude oil. He could do many things that are real, concrete actions. He can put his money and his actions where his mouth is. President Biden, we know you are a loving grandfather. You care about their future and our planet's future. Do the right thing. Do everything we can. This is an emergency. We have to throw everything at the wall. We cannot stop at half measures. We cannot stop at the work you have already done. And yes, you have already done work, but oh my goodness, we need to do so much more. So much more. President Biden, this is the right thing to do. And here's the thing, Biden, you've already said, you said you have practically declared a national emergency already. Why not actually do it? Actually do it. Actually do it. Not practically, but actually. Not practically, but actually. Actually do it. 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 Actually do it.
Actually do it.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
We want to make our message really clear, as long as we have to say, end fossil fuels, declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels.
Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Now!
Climate emergency.
End fossil fuels.
Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
We all come here with different experiences of how what is already happening with the climate crisis is affecting us and our loved ones, of how fossil fuel infrastructure and all of the destruction and toxicity that goes along with that is impacting us or our loved ones. The Mountain Valley Pipeline, this corrupt project, this huge fracked methane gas carbon bomb, is being built in my home state in West Virginia. They're trying to cross the Greenbrier River a few miles from where my mother lives. And I've seen the pictures of what happens when these huge pipelines explode, and it does happen. And they're not taking all the safety precautions. And they've gone against the will of the people. It's not even people in West Virginia working on those jobs on the pipeline. Very little, very little. Those promises have been broken. It continues to be extracting the wealth of the land and poisoning the people who live there.
Yes.
And bringing the wealth to people, most of them don't even live in the state.
That's right.
And just like there, we see that the people who've done the least to contribute to this problem are so often the people who suffer the worst.
That's right.
That is so wrong. When billionaires have super yachts and private jets that are spewing massive amounts of carbon into the atmosphere, and people who are just struggling to survive are the ones who are hurting. In Libya, 10 or 20,000 people died from these floods. Can you imagine their towns being washed away? What did they do to contribute to this crisis? And we're here to say that this is a matter of truth, it's a matter of science, and it's also a matter of justice, of making a world that lives up to our highest values. And so we call on you, all of us with our different stories and experiences, the pain that we bring, to say we cannot delay any longer. We cannot solve this crisis on the backs of poor people, on the backs of indigenous people who've suffered so much. We have to come together, solve it with justice, and start today by listening to the people who put you in office. Don't delay another day. Declare a climate emergency now. Don't delay one more day. Do it now. Every day that you delay, there's a cost. There's a price in lives to be paid. We don't want to see that anymore. We want to move forward, restore a safe climate, build a just and peaceful world for all of us. We can do it, and it can start with you. It can start with you. Take the love you feel for your grandchildren, put that into courageous action now. Declare a climate emergency and keep your promise. Move to end fossil fuels without delay. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. 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 And fossil fuels. 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 Declare a climate emergency.
As people of faith, we're here to call on President Biden to go into his heart and touch inside his soul and to imagine the future that he's leaving behind for his grandchildren and great-grandchildren, for my grandchildren, for my great-grandchildren, for the future generations of all of us, for all Americans. And I want to offer a blessing to President Biden for strength, for bravery, for resilience, for the courage to act boldly now to declare a climate emergency. May you be blessed, President Biden, with strength, with bravery, with courage to lead us, the American people, and the world to address the global climate emergency. We need your leadership. Please step up. May you be blessed with strength and courage and bravery. Be brave, Biden. Act now. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. 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 Act with urgency. Declare a Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. 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 Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. 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 Biden. 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 End fossil fuels. 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 End fossil fuels.
President Biden, I have a question, and it's a question we all need to ask. The banner I am holding today is about Enbridge. It's a foreign oil corporation in Canada. They are taking a shortcut through our land, our pristine waters, to go back to Canada where the oil is refined and exported. So people who say, yeah, drill, baby, drill, we don't want to pay $5 at the gas pump, this oil is not for us. We get all the risk, none of the benefit. They are trying to add 41 miles through Wisconsin to add to the pipeline already there, Line 5. Line 5 is ready to rupture at the Bad River Reservation in Wisconsin. When this pipeline was put in 70 years ago, it had a 50-year lifespan. It's 20 years past that. When it was put in, it was 325 feet from that river, Bad River, Wisconsin. Please look it up. It's got 5 feet, 5 more feet, falls into that river. It's going to go into Lake Superior and affect all of the Great Lakes. We need to ask questions, people. We need to ask questions, please. There is also a 1977 treaty between the United States and Canada, giving Canada the right, unobstructed right, to go through our land and our water with the hydrocarbon of their choice. This has to end. Governor Whitmer in Michigan has called on Enbridge to shut down Line 5 now. And they waved that treaty in her face and said, we don't have to. We have a treaty. I am here to say, why have we not held tight to one of our treaties we made with Indigenous people? Not one. You don't honor those treaties. Why are you honoring the 1977 U.S.-Canada treaty?
Let's talk about treaties.
I'm calling on you to revoke the treaty. They are destroying our land. They are destroying our water. This is unsustainable.
Treaties are the supreme law of the land in the Constitution of the United States, Article 6. Treaties are the supreme law of the land.
Well, since we're talking about it, let it be known, okay? Mother Earth was raped, okay? We gave Thanksgiving not for this epic failure. And I want you all to know that these treaties, we have 2 of them left. We want our timber back in the sacred Black Hills.
That's right.
Honor our treaties.
That's right.
We want you guys sit like kings and queens in glass houses and log cabins. You stripped our earth. It has epically failed. The president and his cabinet need to get down on his knees and repent for the 1890 Wounded Knee Massacre. My grandpa is Chief Bigfoot. Over 500 years of resistance, we're still here. And you know what, Jill Biden? We look hot the women. We never signed treaties with the United States government. Honor our treaties. You're just a woman. And you, the president and his cabinet, before you die, I say you repent and compensate for the Wounded Knee Massacre. You removed those 22 Medal of Honor for decorating. We already rubbed out Custer and Greasy Grass. You went down emergency in the name of Jesus Christ. Give our Black Hills back to us.
Give it back. Give it back.
You took a treaty in the name of Jesus Christ. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Sitting Bull said, take what you can from the white man and use it, for we are forced to live his way. You know, I'm telling you, we already forgave that atrocity, that genocide, that massacre. Look at this oath. Look at this chain of command. We know that these ones who are armed, standing there in weapons, their chain of command is Custer. And I know that Custer died for your sins, but he was already rubbed out in the battle of greasy grass. Don't you forget that we are the living molecule, the living lineal descendants of an 1890 Wounded Knee massacre. Cheta wakati amachaksto, takini amanta haksto, hochwoje mini koje we a hemachaksto, mini wichoni, wacheki akakaya ye wana, makai hoki stesele. You behave, you listen to the people, and you listen to the Constitution. Everything that you put up, that you said you would do, has epically failed. Your President Trump has been incarcerated. Biden, look what you're doing today. Lead by example.
Well,
you cannot kill.
Started,
You cannot kill us Lakota. We are the Great Sioux Nation. We are the Ocheti Shakui. You behave yourself and you honor our Mother Earth. If you really want to eat a good Thanksgiving meal, you better learn how to take care of those pipes and clean that water, because I'm telling you, and I'll say it once and I'll say it again, when technology fails, there's no limits to what our grandfathers are going to do when they take over. That's why I say, get on your knees, take a knee in the name of Wounded Knee and repent, because you know how epically failed our Mother Earth. Honor our treaties, and pray for your grandchildren, because they have to clean up your mess. All my relations, mitakuye oasi.
Mother Earth is sacred, extraction is hatred. Mother Earth is sacred, extraction is hatred.
Mother Earth is sacred, extraction is hatred. Mother Earth is sacred, extraction is hatred. Mother Earth is sacred, extraction is hatred. Mother Earth is sacred, extraction is hatred.
Extraction is hatred.
Hear us, President Biden. Don't delay. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
Actually do it. 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 Actually do it.
Not actually, but actually.
Not practically, but actually. Not practically, but actually.
Declare a climate emergency.
Not practically, but actually.
Declare a climate emergency.
Not practically, but actually.
Declare a climate emergency.
Not practically.
But actually.
Declare a climate emergency.
Yes, yes. Keep your promise. Keep your promise. Keep your promise.
Keep your promise.
And there's still time today, Biden. We want to say, attend the climate summit. Attend the climate summit.
Attend the climate summit. Attend the climate summit. Attend the climate summit. Attend the climate summit. Attend the climate summit.
Attend the climate summit. Attend the climate summit. Attend the climate summit. Attend the climate summit.
Attend the climate summit.
Attend the climate summit.
We come here in a very basic way of relating to someone that we depend on, and I think it's fair to say we depend on our president. It's very fair in relationships to ask of people when they make a promise to you. They say, if you support me, if you vote for me, know that this is what I'll do. And when they say that, we expect them to honor it. And so we're here today simply to say to President Biden, you made a solemn promise to the American people. You made a solemn promise asking people to vote for you. You were elected, and now we're here to say, you must keep that promise. You must honor your words. You must be a man of integrity and keep your promise. You said no new drilling for fossil fuels on federal land, and you embellished in your characteristic way and said period, period, period. That means to me that we should take your words seriously. We do, and so we're here to say honor them. Keep your promise. Move to end fossil fuels and do it without delay. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
My relatives,
Yes.
a lot of people standing in the street cast their vote to elect a president who has their best interest at heart, in spirit. We ask that you use your intelligence. We ask that you use your intelligence. Look at the scientific data. Understand what's happening in the world, because people are watching it on TV. The death of communities because of natural disasters is not natural at all. They are human-made, and it's based on our lack of accountability and our overconsumption of the resources that the sacred Mother Earth is providing. She's alive, and she regenerates life for us to exist. She is in dire need of assistance, and it has to come in the form of something bigger than a vote. It has to come with a conscience. It has to come with love. It has to come with responsibility and accountability to the land that you walk on, the air that you breathe, and the water that you drink. These are not commodities. These are her gifts of life to all life on this planet. And it's time we recognize that we owe, that we have a duty, that we have dues. And they're coming. Those dues are coming. And you see them when the floods come. You see them when the fires come. You see them when the lightning comes. Because they're watching us. They're reacting to our irresponsibility, our lack of accountability to take control of our consumption. End fossil fuels. Declare a
Climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels.
I want you to take a look at the person standing beside you. I want you to take a look at the person standing beside you. Take a look at them. What are you going to do to make sure that there's air, water, clean air, clean water for their family? for their children, for their grandchildren. Because it takes a lot more common sense than we have right now in the leadership that we elected. It takes you to recognize that you have power, that you have strength, that you have a voice, that you have a duty to wake up. So, it is time. These are not natural disasters. These are man-made by our overconsumption and our dependence upon fossil fuels. That's what we're saying today. Be aware of what your footprint is making. Because these natural disasters are not natural. The people who are dying do not have to die in the way that they're dying. Let's be accountable. Let's stand up. Let's declare a climate emergency.
That's right.
End fossil fuels.
Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels.
President Biden, on August 9th,
Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. 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 Declare a climate emergency.
Move to end fossil fuels and declare a climate
Declare a
emergency
climate
today.
emergency.
He should be acting like climate summit. He should be
Declare a
leading.
climate emergency.
Keep his promise.
End fossil
No
fuels.
new drilling on federal lands. Declare a climate emergency
Getting
today.
arrested. Get into the park. Guys, into the park. Let's go. Into the park.
Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels.
declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels.
Guys, let's go in the park.
We love you.
go,
We
in the
see
park,
you.
in the
We
park.
will get justice for you. We love you. We see you. We will get justice for you. We love you. We see you.
Guys, in the park,
We will
let's
get
go.
justice
Yeah.
for you.
Avenue's closed. Please get into the park.
Let's go.
Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels.
Let's go.
Declare a climate emergency.
End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. End fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. President Biden, keep your promise. Declare a climate emergency. Urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency.
I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate
Kai the pet.
emergency.
Oh, it's 4.
Act
I'm missing one there.
Declare a
that I
climate
didn't see.
emergency.
It's 4.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency. Act with urgency. People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. The people gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. The people are rising like the water. We're gonna face this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. The people are rising like
down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. The people gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. The people gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. The people gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. The people gonna rise like the water. Face this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. Rising like the water, gonna face this crisis now. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. People gonna rise like the water, gonna face this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. Keep it in the ground. Keep it in the ground. And fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency. 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 And fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
And fossil fuels. Declare a climate emergency.
Not practically, but actually declare a climate emergency. Not practically, but actually declare a climate emergency. Not practically, actually declare a climate emergency. Not practically, but actually declare a climate emergency. Not practically, but actually declare a climate emergency. Actually do it. Actually do it. Actually do it, Biden. Actually do it, Biden. Declare a climate emergency. 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 Everybody to get to the streets.
Did you make it to New York City?
Yes. I didn't see you there. Yeah, that's funny. I've got to look through my my
I was in the second or third line.
Climate emergency. Act with urgency. Declare a 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 climate emergency.
Act with urgency. Declare a climate emergency.
True climate solutions. Respect Indigenous sovereignty. True climate solutions. Respect Indigenous sovereignty. True climate solutions.
Since I didn't get to see you in New York while we're here, do you want to talk about kind of what's been going on the last week and a half? Would you mind doing it? I'll make sure to send it to that doc. Do you want to talk about the activism that's been going on for the past kind of week and a half, both here and New York City? You've had quite the journey.
Yeah, I started in South Dakota over a week ago, and we showed up here and we stood in front of the White House on Leonard Peltier's birthday. He has been in custody for over 4 decades. 4 decades. And in other countries, the maximum time is only 25 years. That's a lifetime. And yet, an innocent brother, not guilty of the crime that the charges that were against him, is serving 4 decades. Over 4 decades, almost 5 decades. That's what brought me to Washington, D.C. Because it's probably the worst thing that you can, the worst thing that you can use to try to manipulate and control an entire nation. Is to take one of them, abuse them, charge them illegally, manipulate evidence to have them put behind bars.
And then, of course, there's been the climate stuff in the 3 days after that, and then the New York event. Tell me about all that.
The march was Sunday, and this week now they're having a climate summit, and so protesters from all over the globe, and especially in the United States, made an appearance at the march. 75,000 people is what I've heard, but we were chanting in the street in a unified, diverse act. Many actions. There was the closing of banks, and that I think was the main target, because if you can get a bank to stop funding fossil fuel development, then that custom, that's just one of the steps that we need to take. Is that we need our banks to invest in green technology and not lithium. There's enough lithium on the planet right now. If we recycled it, we would probably have what we need. And the same with the other elements that we've been extracting.
Leslie, I mean, both Monday in New York as well as kind of over the last week and a half here in DC, there's been these acts of civil disobedience. Why is it sort of important to do that kind of activism instead of just raising your voices, but also doing the nonviolent getting arrested?
Okay, so we have come to a point in our existence, politically and physically, that this planet cannot sustain our consumption of the planetary resources, and it cannot sustain the continual extraction of fossil fuels. So we are at a tipping point, and the administration is not responding. The scientists are being shut down. Their voices are being minimalized. But here on these gates, we can use our constitutional rights to make people aware and to demand that climate change be taken seriously. And part of that means that we have to be civil disobedient. That means that we have to stand in the front, and we have to let Biden know that we're out here, and it's come to a point, it's an emergency. And civil disobedience has strong roots, and it carries a big wave that lasts far into the future. So getting arrested, getting ticketed, those are both things that people are willing to do, because it's at that point they will sacrifice their freedom to make sure that the message is not lost, to encourage other people, to inspire them, and to put out a red flag and a siren that the time for change is now, and if it takes civil disobedience, that's what it takes, and that's what people are going